Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely thank you for your support and your fellowship. I will be well, and I will move forward. But for now, may I introduce our number one leader of our team. Delta has much to tell you in my place. Delta, please, sir.
Thank you very much, Frankie. First of all, like everybody else, I'm so sorry about your loss. But like I talked to you, remember, and we said that everything is meant to be. I mean, God created us, and He put our soul, and our soul belongs to Him. So I believe your brother is going to be in a good hand, and his soul will be in heaven, buddy. And as far as children, his kids is going to be our kids, buddy. Whatever they need, I'm there for them too. Anything they want, hopefully after the blessing, sir. His kids is my kids, is your kids, everybody's kids. So those kids definitely will take care of them 100%, buddy. That's no problems at all. And God bless his soul, and hopefully, and I know his soul will be in heaven, sir. Second of all, I love you too, buddy. I mean, you're my brother. You're everything. You're the KTFA. It's not only we all gathered for a reason, and God put us all together for one thing, to help each other. And this blessing, I know God is going to bring it to all of us at the KTFA to help each other, because all of us are going to have a lot of money, but I mean, it's not about the money, but about our future generations. Grandkids, they're gonna come up and they'll be set, especially if you know exactly how to handle those money the right way. Right. They're gonna come, for future. And remember, all of us, Frank, Delta, everybody, the KTFA, and I really do believe. I'm so happy when this blessing occurred. Not because of the money too, but I know we're gonna help a lot of people with the right way. And those children, like I told you, it's your brother, it's my children too, it's everybody's children, and we have responsibility, sir, towards them, and we're going to make sure that they have the top education, and I'm promising you right now, I will take care of them too, sir. Anything they need from me, I'm ready for there too, and I really do believe not only me, everybody does agree with me as a KTFA. I don't think nobody has a doubt about that. That's number one. Number two, I would like to thank all of you that did wish me the birthdays. Actually, my birthday was on March 12th. And just to let you know, I just turned 42, because a lot of you have asked me, are you 80, 90? No, I'm not yet 90, but I'm 42. No, not yet, but we're going to get there, no problem. But I really thank all of you. I really do appreciate all your kind words. And I love you all tremendously.
Love you, Delta, before you go. Love you. Thank you for your time.
Man. As usual, buddy, you know that I don't like to see you down, buddy, and when you're down, I'm down. Okay, when you don't feel good, I don't feel good. You are everything to me, buddy, and God only knows, probably knows how much I love you, man. But I'm there for you 1,000%, buddy, 1,000%. Whoever misses Frankie is missing with Delta, so you better don't ever miss with Frankie. Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, the floor is yours, full throttle, and I want you to be nervous, because everybody is with us tonight. All team members, all of the Northeast is with us. Our site is not going to go down tonight. They're all listening. Go ahead, Delta.
Yes, sir. I mean, as usual, I'm going to make it very sweet and short because, on Mondays I have all the time things to do. But I got about very close to 20, 25 minutes. I'm going to make it very short and sweet. All right. First of all, families, you remember a week or 2 weeks ago, I believe, when the team came up and I told you that one of our contacts at the CBI finally got in touch with Dr. Shabibi, and he was complaining to Shabibi about, the nodes that they do have right now, like Iraqi nodes, they're in very bad shape. And then Dr. Shabibi told him, son, don't worry, we're going to do it, if everything is fine before the summit. And then I really do believe Mary Cooper today, which is, by the way, I would like to really thank a lot Mary Cooper and Walking Stick. I really do appreciate, guys. I mean, really thank you for all the news that you guys bring to the forum. We really appreciate it to all this beautiful job that you're doing, Mary Cooper and Walking Stick, and of course all of you families. Now, just to let you know, we are having a lot of good news from Iraiya TV. But before the article comes out, as you know, this is actually one of the members of the financial committee that they're having a big problem right now because remember, 1166 is the exchange rate and the CBI, but the black market and everybody's like 1240. This is the exchange rate of Iraqi dinar. Now, there's a lot of panic right now in the Iraqi market because the dinar is devaluing in the black market and the dollar's going up. So this guy, what he does actually, he picks up the phone and he talks to Dr. Shabibi. You know, there everybody knows each other. It's not like here you're going to talk to someone who's going to take you ages to make an appointment and dates with any guy officials. So he talks to him, and interestingly, whatever Shabibi told almost my contact families, it came up in an article today. It's amazing. And really, one more time, I would like to thank my contact, and by the way, he's listening to us right now too. Thank you very much. شكرا كثير أخي على المساعدة, which is I want to talk to Arabic to him. My family, I do apologize for that, but I would like to thank him a lot for all his help. He's helping the team, giving us exactly what's going on. So basically, in this article that came up today, this one is a huge, huge one. We got so many actually information out of this article. First of all, it gives you an indication that all the majors is done. And in this article, Dr. Shabibi stated to this gentleman over the phone that the majors are developed, which is, we know family with the majors. Remember a month or 2 months ago when another article came up and they did state that the CBI in the coming days, they're going to take some kind of major differences with the exchange. They're going to change the rate. They're going to change the price of selling and buying. And today, actually, he promised actually, right, this is the Dr. Shabibi, he promised the gentleman, and just to let you know, the gentleman that called Shabibi over the phone in this article is not anybody else. It's one of the financial committee. I remember, Shabibi, anything happened, he coordinated those financial committees, all right? And Shabibi promised him that in the coming days, they're going to see significantly decrease in the value of the U.S. dollar against the dinars, all right? So that gives you an indication that they're working on that one. And then to confirm this article, another article came up today. You remember they used to have Egyptian employees working for Iraq a long time ago when Saddam Hussein was there. When the United Nations imposed sanctions, all these people, they left, they did not get paid. So those are private companies. And then another article came up today, like we all saw the form. They did indicate that they're going to pay him about 1.2 or 1.6 billion total, but for right now, they're going to pay him right away $402 million, and they're going to be paid within the next 2 days. And the funny part about that, actually the good part, is going to be a wire transfer. All right, Frank and I, we talk about it today, and the most significant part about that is a wire transfer. That gives you an indication that the CBI or the government of Iraq, they're ready to go international because they're linked. And how they're linked, remember families, end of December, beginning of January, when we read you the article and we talked about the huge big cable that's connecting Iraq right now to the Gulf country and to the world. That was actually installed, and they did the testing, and everything was done. And remember the 1170s, and then the CBI dropped it down to 1166. Everybody was thinking, wow, it's not time. That was a test. And even in this article that came up today, the member of the financial committee, he did state that whatever the CBI did that day did not work out because the dollar's still, coming very high. But they did not know that the CBI did that for the test to make sure all the connections, everything is working. So all the good news. And United Nations today, even was in Iraiya TV, I know the article came up too. They're all saying the same thing. We're working to get Iraq out of Chapter 7. And again in Iraiya TV today, and I believe this is a huge one too, that Kuwait and Iraq, they agreed to drop the debt in order to finish everything. And of course, they have to do the borders between the two countries. So Kuwait, actually, they're going to ask Iraq to do the borders, whatever it was, actually the agreement, in order for them to drop the debt. But I believe everything, family, it's a good news. And remember, the summit. Family, this summit, it's something very, very huge for Iraq. And just to let you know, I'm one of the Middle Eastern, all right? I'm from the Middle East. And in the Middle East, the pride is everything for us, right? And some of them, they like to show up. They have to show that they are better than their fellow, neighbors. They have to show that when I have a guest in my house, I have to show them the best of the best. And just to let you know, if any one of you has a chance to go to the Middle Eastern countries and has friends there, when you go there, they don't know what to do to the guest family. They even if they don't have money, but they try the best to feed you, to give you warm clothes, to get you the best host, like they say, to their visitors. So the same thing. This summit, family, it's a big, huge thing for Iraq. So for them not to at least revalue their currency and showing their neighbors that we're ready, then it's not going to work out for them. They have to do it, all right? They have to do that. Now, the GCC actually a week or 2 weeks ago, they asked Iraq to finish all the obligations to Kuwait. And I know it's going to finish. And you see what's going on right now. When Saudi Arabia is involved, hey, everybody's there. And thank God Saudi Arabia is going to be there, that's a huge thing. Because Saudi Arabia has a power in that region. So for all these GCC members or countries to ask Iraq to finish everything, then that's a huge thing. And you remember, family, if you go back a year or a year and a half ago, when the GCC actually, there was a meeting between Shabibi's financial minister at Dubai, I believe, and they wanted to actually go back dealing with the GCC banking system. But the banking system asked Iraq to drop the difference between the exchange rate between the dinars and the U.S. All right, even the GCC, they cannot deal with them unless they have to let the 3 zeros and revalue their currencies. All right. Now, all the indication right now is showing that we might see it like we told you a long time ago, an 85, 86 cents all the way up to $1, or they might surprise all of us and they come up around at least over $1. All right, because all the articles for the last year or so, they're indicating that the Iraqi dinar is going to be very close to $1, or equal to $1 for at least a couple of years. And in the same articles, I believe another person came up, and the one that Shabibi came up today, and he said that they don't think that the Iraqi dinars is going to go back like it used to be before. I don't want you to get encouraged with that statement. Basically, what they're saying is they don't think that it's going to go back like in the 70s and 80s for now, okay? But that doesn't matter for us. Like I said, believe me, it doesn't matter the rate as long as they get it done. Now, just to let you know, like I told you, all our teams, they really believe that March is 1 month, all right, for so many reasons. Second of all, we are in high alert because we got actually a call today that Dr. Shabibi, he might pull the trigger this week, and it might happen Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the time. Remember, if you go back with me, 2003. When Iraq introduced the new currency, the one that we have existing right now, they came up on October 15, all right? October 15, 2003, when they introduced the new denominations, it was on Tuesday. When January of 2012, when they run the test and they dropped the exchange rate from 1170 to 1166, that was on the 17th, I believe that was on Tuesday, family. So this is the patterns. If you look at all their histories, it looks like they all the time when they do that, they do it in the middle of the month. I'm not sure why, but this is how it works. Good for them, probably. Do I know that? Yes, sir. Go ahead, buddy.
You just helped me. It is in my notes. I am going to say a few things tonight, but we have always said for 3 years, I've always told everybody, I understand your excitement about Sunday, the first day, for Parliament, they're back. I understand your excitement about over the weekend. It's a perfect time to do it. But I've always said it, and I'm going to take the opportunity to pound the nail one more time. Pay attention to Tuesdays and Thursdays. I've always said it, and I don't change from the things I say. Continue, sir.
And that's absolutely, Frank, and that's exactly what we say to the family all the time. And just remember, if the money is ready too, the article came up from about the Egypt fund. They say the same thing in 2 days, because it looks like the warring between the countries between Tuesday and Thursday. And the funny part too about it, they said it was already in the budget. Now, just to let you know, it's our teams believe that all the delay of the budget, because remember they came up and they said, oh, we have to release the fund on January 1st. But for some reason, the CBI or whatever happened, the IMF, they were not really ready 100% for some reason. That's why they delayed the budget. And believe it or not, there is nothing wrong with the budget. It was only stalled on their part because they know they cannot release this budget, right, unless they have to revalue the currency. Because if they don't, it's going to create big problems, especially with inflation. All right. And just like you know, probably you know that we just saw in Iraiya TV too the meeting that took place in Jordan over the weekend between Dr. Shabibi, Iraqi Financial Minister Mr. Aisawi, and the IMF. They were all meeting, and they showed that on TV. They did talk actually about this budget, and God knows what they did talk about. Of course, the rate behind closed doors, which is we know something is happening there. It's family. It's all good news, and we really do believe that highly. This is of course my opinion, and the teams. We know it's going to be in March. We don't know exactly the date. But today I got a confirmation that we might see it this week. All right, we might see that this week because remember, before they release the budget, in 2 days the budget has to be released. But imagine if they revalue right now and they put some denominations on the street, then they don't have to pay with the high. They have to pay with the lower denominations and with the revalues. And just to let you know, I was told too that at the beginning they might introduce only five denominations. It's going to be the 50 dinar, 100 dinar, 200 dinars, and we're going to have 1 dinar and 2 dinar coins for the first time. They're going to have 1 and 2 dinars coins, and the 2 dinars they never had it, and they never had 200 dinars. But they're going to probably introduce those to the market gradually, so that way they don't shock the markets right away with everything. And this what actually was the plan. If you look at the CBI, this is what they state long time ago. And this is what actually I do have, Frankie, but it's all good news. We're expecting, like I said, March is our month. Well, we need to watch very closely tonight because, like I said, every time when you get to our Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday family, it's really there. And like just let you know, it's not rumors. And just to answer some of the question or some of the people that have some doubt that they might say that, how come the CBI, they're announcing the revalue in advance? Family, the CBI has been announcing the revalue since 2-3 years. But a lot of people, they took it the wrong way. And remember in September when one of the CNN, I believe was the Chinese news or the UK, I'm not remember, when they said that the Iraqi government agreed to revalue currency, all right, over the next 2 to 3 years. It was in September 2011, family. You all remember that. And they told everybody it's going to revalue, and so surprisingly, you see a lot of people talking about love. They're telling you we're going to revalue the currency. We're going to enhance the value. All right. When you laugh, you don't enhance the value. All right. You don't do that. So Shabib, whatever he said to that, put the sleep for good. All right. For good on the law issues. For those of you that still have some doubt about it, because you don't do that to the law, all right? And we know that a long time ago. We keep telling everybody, but you know, some people it's very hard to believe for them too that from like $1,000 investment, you might make about 1,000 times return. And a lot of people they don't believe that. Oh, it's not going to be. How come it's going to be overnight? Family, this is not overnight. This is over 9 years. You're not making money overnight. It took us 9, 10 years to make that. How many people do you see they make billions from penny stocks? There's a lot of people, right? So what's the difference? This is like Frankie used to tell you all the time. Iraqi dinars, it's like you're actually less than a penny stocks. And a lot of people can make money, but just let you know, this is not overnight thing. It took us 9 years since 2003, and a lot of people, probably they just joined recently, but Frankie and I and a lot of team members since they started 2003, that's 9 years.
Yeah, that's enough.
that's enough. That's not overnight, believe me. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of stress from so many people, and you know, people get addicted into it, and they cannot. It's like American Express. You cannot live with it or without it. What they say, something like that. The same thing. Yes, sir.
Hey, Delta, I know you have to get going pretty soon, but before you leave, let's open it to people that want to ask you questions. I know John's right there ready to ask you, but before you do, John, hey, Delta, this concept about the LOP, there was an article that came out today. Now, the article, once again, did very well in confusing everybody. The article says that they're going to decrease the value of the Iraqi dinar against the American dollar. And right away, you've got people say, lop, 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 lop. But the translation wasn't proper, and the interpretation was also mixed up. So here's what I told everybody that called me. I even wrote it down because I said, hold on. I get my notes. I said, here, let me repeat it because I've already repeated it 20, 30 times today. And this is what I told everybody. This is what I told everybody about that article about the American dollar and the dinar. I said, the IQD is too low. So when you add purchasing power to it via the increase of via the removal of the 3 zeros, well, you see, that action then decreases the value of the United States dollar versus the IQD going up in value. Now the person says, what? What did you just say?
Right.
But in reality, watch, real slow, one more time. The IQD is too low. Yeah. So what? Well, so when you add purchasing power to the IQD by the removal of the 3 zeros, you know what that does? It decreases the value of the American dollar because the IQD goes up in value. Oh, so it's not a lot. No, it's just a trickery of words.
Actually, Frankie, that's a good definition, but just I need to let everybody know because see, in Arabic, they're absolutely right. What they're talking, Sam, is about decreasing the Iraqi dinar, because right now in the black market in Iraq, right, it's actually the Iraqi dinar is going up, meaning not revalue, going up meaning the bad way. So the CBI, they're trying to decrease it. So, for example, right now it's 1,240 dinars for every dollar in the black market. So when they say we need to decrease it, that means increase it. All right?
You're actually increasing, right? When you say decrease, you're actually increasing, and that causes the confusion.
Absolutely. And it's just confusing because you guys have been with us so many times, so many years. You should know by now what the translation is. I mean, one word might make the difference. I mean, one mistake, one wrong word might change a lot of things. So that's why you have to be very, very careful. So when it's decreased, that's actually a revaluation. That's actually a good thing for the black market.
That's why I throw in the definition. The lifting of the 3 zeros is what adds the power to the IQD that goes against the USD that makes it look like it's going up and the USD going down. It's a normal, but it's confusing. Well, look at here. There's no shrimp. There's no lobsters. There's no lop. But what we do have is John. John, are you there? You have a question for Delta.
I am indeed. And Frank, I want you to know that our hearts and our prayers are with you at this time. I just make sure, Frankie, to know to lean on us at any time. I'm here for you. Call me morning, noon, or night. Would love to speak to you, and I know that it never hurts to be cheered up with a phone call, and love to hear you laugh even tonight in your grief. And we're thinking of you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly.
Delta, it's great to hear your voice. It's great to hear how enthusiastic you are, and always greatly appreciate your comprehensive updates. I have been in touch, Frank knows, and has been on some conference calls with me and a guy by the name of Easy Rider, whose first name is Mike, and he's out of Modesto, California. And Mikey sent to me 3 articles today. 1 or 2 of them you've discussed. Very interestingly, it brings to me 3 hopefully pretty quick questions. The first is with reference to a phone call I was on the other night with the IQD team, and a very shrewd guy named Mike different Mike, does the synopsis of all those calls, and it was with relation to the national conference. Now, the article that came out today, found by my cohort Mike Easy Rider, said that the national conference is to be held before the Arab Summit. Well, on the IQD call last week, there was theory and conjecture that they may have held that conference in private between the 6th and the 8th of this month. My curiosity continues because when I see this article, it's alleging that maybe indeed it hasn't yet taken place. What's your read on the actual national conference, whether it's happened, and what, if any, if there's serious significance of that for what we've been talking about here?
Actually, that's true, John. They actually agreed today that we got about 90, if not 100%, 90%. They might hold the meeting before the summit, and the good things about it, they agreed to implement the Arab agreement on this conference, on the national conference. So all the good news that's going on. Even though, like, I really doubt, like I used to say, I'm still in the belief on that the HCL and all kind of stuff has nothing to do with oil investment. And as you see, I told that a year or 2 years ago, but a lot of people were against it, saying no, HCL 140. It's not. But see why the national conference is very important. Like I explained earlier, for the Middle Eastern countries, they have to show that they are strong, they have power, they're a tiger, they're lions. You know. They're the best of the best. They don't want their neighbors to come to their house and they have to show the worst. So they have to be united. That's very important for the government of Iraq to do. So yes, it looks like they might hold that. I really do believe they might hold the meeting after Maliki comes back from Kuwait, because Maliki is expecting to go to Kuwait on the 14th, I believe.
Oh, so that sounds good. So what you potentially foresee is, if not something this week as you had theorized, maybe after the return of Maliki, kind of to tie everything together, because he'll be coming back with the symbolic, even though we believe functionally he already has what he needs from Kuwait, he'll come back with more of a kind of a legitimized finality to his trip, and that might also make next week to be a good time to do it before the week which will ultimately be the summit.
Absolutely, that's true, John. This is what we really do believe is going to happen, and there's a lot of requests from all the political coalitions to hold that conference before the summit, because they're going to look more stronger, they're going to look more united, and they're going to look good in front of the Middle Eastern countries. So we really do believe they'll do something. You know how it is. This is the Middle Eastern culture. Like I used to tell everybody, they do fight. But then at the end, they reach the point. You know, they love to argue. This is them. They like to negotiate, to argue for nothing. But then at the end, they'll get it done. And we really do believe that they'll get it done.
One of the things that Frank and I talked about quite lengthily was the theory of either the RV at the summit, or if not at, certainly long before, because the one thing you wouldn't want to have is the chaos of an RV literally days before a summit, would you? Because that might make kind of the frenetic activity on the streets of Baghdad and in general within Iraq almost too much of an overwhelm, not necessarily a security problem, but too much of an overwhelm with the summit taking place right after. I mean, would that certainly be a concern or not necessarily?
You're absolutely right, John, and this is what everybody concerned. And logic said technically, if they're really scheduled to do it this month, and all the indication showing that this is our month, and like I said earlier, and it's a high possibility you might see something this week. All right, but this is, of course, you don't know, but this is what I was informed too. We might be wrong about the date, because, like I said, we don't know the exact date, but this is what I was told, that we might see something anything between Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because the budget. This is not rumors. If you go back on December of 2011, when the government approved the budget before it goes to the Parliament, the Prime Minister cabinet, they did announce that this budget is going to enhance the value for Iraqi dinars. They say that.
4 seconds.
Interesting.
So that's why we really do believe this budget was different. And I said earlier, the delay, because they were supposed to actually launched the budget on the 1st, and they were supposed to actually evaluate before that, but for some reason we don't know exactly what was a little delayed for that, and that's why they delayed the budget, and they came up with the excuses that, we have some kind of constitutional things, and Okay, if you have some constitutional things, then why the president approved it?
Right.
So we know there's something going on. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Before I forget, Delta, when you broke the news tonight that you're only 42, I have to invoke what my father once said to me. You're wise beyond your years. You certainly sound like you got a lot more wisdom than a 42-year-old, and I salute you and thank you for the wisdom you impart at each call that you bring. One of the other things I wanted to throw at you was you had mentioned the denominations of 50, 100, and 200, and then the 1 and the 2 dinar coins. Would it not necessarily absolutely beg the question that they're going to also have to come up with the mini coins, i.e. quarters and whatever, because of the fact that if the dinar is at the dollar range or potentially higher, certainly with time it will be, you're going to need a certain level for, just regular commerce on a lower level of a lot of lower coins.
Absolutely, but you know what's going to happen? They might not come with the coins right away for one reason. Right now, if not 100%, 90% Iraqi citizens, all right, they use the most common bill. It's a $100 bill. All right, so this is what they don't use any kind of like 10 cents or 20 cents or a quarter of the American, because remember, even the 25 quarters American, they have a value there, but nobody uses it. So now they know in order for them to gradually take out the 1,000, the 5,000, all the way up to 25,000. They don't need even coins right now, believe it or not, because in Iraq, even if they come up a 1-to-1, everything is very expensive. I mean, they're going to be able to use the 1 dinars, 2 dinars, because remember, the cheapest product right now in Iraq is about 1,000 dinar. All right, if they revalue it to 1-to-1 or 85 cents, that is going to be 1. So they don't need even coins for that. Because right now they're already like rounding up everything, so it's possible, and this is what their intention is. I really do believe that they're going to come up with the coin, but not right away. They might throw the 5 denomination right now at a value 1-to-1, and then we might see the coins when they come up. Remember, in order for them to bring the coins, the rate has to be over $3, and then you're going to see them gradually putting in the coins. You remember in 2004 when they came up with those denominations that we had. They never had the 500 dinars. They just introduced the 500 dinars in 2004. So this is what they tried to do. They're going to come up, I really do believe, probably with the 3 or 5 denomination right now, and you'll be surprised you might not even see coins for that. And a lot of you this is going to happen because they're not going to use them right now. Even 1-to-1, you're not going to need coins because, like I said, the lowest things in Iraq right now is $1. And just to let you know, John, in Iraq it's very expensive. Even if it go 1-to-1, Iraq is going to be the next Europe, the next Switzerland, and expensive thing. All right? It's going to give jobs to Iraqi people, but it's going to be very, very expensive, buddy. I mean, that's right now, it's very expensive. I'll give you an example. If you want to go eat for 2 people, I mean, regular food, not, I mean, fancy food, it's going to cost you about $60 for 2 people in the green zone. Just to eat like, a couple of sandwiches, 2 sodas. It's very expensive.
Well, they have to bring, I mean, it's sort of like Japan in the desert. I've been to Japan a couple of times, and everything has to be imported, sort of like Hawaii. And I would think that much of what comes in, not only to the green zone, but into a second world country that's going to be the number 1 superpower of the Middle East, you're going to have to bring a ton of stuff in, and not that much stuff is going to be manufactured. And as a result, it's going to jack prices way up. Also, obviously, with relation to the changeover in the currency, that would stand to reason.
Absolutely, but I mean that's a lot of that's a good point too. But either way, John and families, I mean, before I go, I have like 2 or 3 minutes left. I would like to conclude or summarize whatever we got today for you. Month of March, it looks like it's a very solid, very strong one, and it looks like this was the plan for them from day one before the Arab Summit to do that. And we just wait and see. And like I said, we are on a high alert for the next 2-3 days. That's what I was told. That doesn't mean it's going to happen this week, but it's a very, very high potential that they might pull the trigger based on Shabibi's article. And it looks like everything's done. You remember when they said as soon as we get the agreement for the government, we're going to announce it right away. Well, just to let you know, the government gave the approval, not because they need it, but they need the coordination. That's why.
Hey, Delta, before you go, one final, the September loss of the zeros, in order to calm people down, can you reiterate again why that's not a big problem?
It's not a big problem because they're exactly right. They're going to start deleting the zeros because remember what they're doing right now. They're doing everything in incremental of 6 months. In June, Shabibi came up and told Maliki that I have all the tools to start the process of deleting the zeros, and that was printing the money. All right. So by January 2012, the article came up saying that the CBI is finished from the first phase, which is they did printed some of the money. We know they had the money earlier, but the money that they have since 2004, they did not have the Kurdish language in it. That's why it took them that time. So Shabibi finished everything, and now when they said they're going to start deleting the zeros in September, they're right, because now they're going to introduce everything. They're not going to say nothing to their own people, but starting in September of 2012, they will start collecting or lifting the 3-0 denomination, and they're going to give you at least a couple of years, all by end of 2013. But they're not talking about the revalue. They didn't say revalue will take on September. Lifting the zeros will start in September. So technically they have to start in March right now. They release the rate, they revalue the currency, and then after 6 months they're going to start telling their own people, hey, Iraqi citizens, starting in September, we're going to start lifting the 3 zeros. So try as much as possible, do not use the 3 zeros, or go to the bank, open an account, and get you lower denominations.
Gotcha. Thank you, Delta.
But that's all the good news, families. Okay, buddy, I appreciate all of you, and thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Yeah, can I throw a quick question at you before you leave? This is Eagle One.
Go ahead, buddy.
In the Kuwaiti news media, they had this article about paying Egypt, and they actually used the correlation between the dinar and the U.S. dollar, and
yes.
The calculations bring it out at 0.858 or 86 cents, basically.
Delta, if you don't have the time for this, I'm going to cover this tonight. But if you have the time, go ahead.
Yeah, after Eagle One, actually, I had a chance. I'm sorry because I saw your questions on the phone, but I was a little busy. Actually, that was a misprint, because if you look at it, the first one they did put 1.7 billion equal to 2 billion dinars, but then at the end they talk about the deficit. They did put 100 million equal to 1.7 billion dinars. So that was a misprinting.
Okay.
That's a misprint. But either way, buddy, this is what they're looking for either way. That's why you see a lot of confusion, because this is what they told the people. It's going to come up at least 85, 86 cents, very close to $1 for right now. And we might be surprised too. They might come up maybe higher than $1, but anything could happen.
Yeah.
But that was a misprinting on that article, because it doesn't match the first and the second one, buddy.
Yeah, thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, Delta.
Thank you, guys. You have a wonderful time. Thank you, Frankie. Take over, buddy. And we're with you 100%. You have a wonderful time, family. Love you all. And hopefully, I hope today will be, man, March. It looks like a lucky month. I hope so.
Take care, Delta. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
Okay, dokie. Do we have our Wells Fargo gentleman on? Okay.
Frankie.
Yes, is this James?
Yes, sir.
Greetings, sir. Good to hear your voice. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing, sir?
Not bad. Better
Can you
days.
hear me well?
Yes, sir. I hear you very well. I've had better days, but I am not about to complain. Family, if you remember, we introduced this gentleman to you last week, and we told you that what happened was that Wells Fargo called my friend here. In fact, he was thinking about the Wells Fargo gentleman, and out of the blue that same afternoon, he got a phone call from him. Now, the Wells Fargo man says, well, there's been a movement in the market. Now, he's not talking about the Iraqi dinar. He's just talking about, in general, the market. And so my friend decides to take the opportunity. Well, certainly, I'll come on in and we'll talk, because I want to talk to you too. And yes, last week the seed was planted to you, and we told you a little bit about what he was going to do. Well, Thursday, they had the meeting, and my friend is here to tell you about that meeting. I heard the recording. I heard all of it. I understand forward and backwards what happened. And what we're going to do, me and James, we're going to talk about the meeting with Wells Fargo, and I hope that you all can enjoy it. James?
Yes, sir.
So Thursday, you had the meeting with the Wells Fargo representative. How was the weather in your town?
It wasn't good. The devil was trying to stop it from happening.
You had thunderstorms and lightning and all that good old stuff down there, huh?
Really bad, really bad. Matter of fact, as we were walking into the building at Wells Fargo, the power went out.
The power went out. Oh my goodness! How many dinars were you carrying into that bank?
Quite a bit.
What I find impressive is that I heard the recording. I clicked on, and if you. Is your last name Bond, James Bond, by any chance?
No, it isn't. But I have quite a few little things I do. I'm a James Bond fan.
Well, then you must work at a Jiffy Oil Change because you're slick. You're slick. When I heard that recording, and I said, I know what he's doing, and I know strategically where you placed it. And anyway, so you start with your conversation. And by the end of the conversation, I'm sorry, your name is no longer James Bond. It's Minnie Frank. I was sitting there like a tissue cat with a smile on my face, so proud of you. I'm thinking, I'm a proud daddy. This man is saying everything I've said for the last 3 years and more. You came out with some brilliant ideas we're going to talk about here. But while you were setting it all up and you were introducing yourself and the concept of what you wanted to do that night, all of a sudden, boom, like you say, the light went out, and this man didn't want to cancel the meeting, did he? Let's keep talking, didn't he?
No, he did not want to cancel it. He was quite excited to sit down and talk with us.
In fact, on top of that, if I understand it, did not the electricity go out in the Wells Fargo building, and there were some people stuck in the elevator? And they don't worry about it. Let's just have the meeting.
Yes, that is true.
Now, I heard you talking, and I heard you explaining in fact, this recording, I'm not going to share it with the family because I don't want to expose this Wells Fargo gentleman, but this recording could be 101 in economics of introducing the dinar to banks. You did it brilliantly. Your chronological step-by-step introduction up to where we're at right now caused this man to lean forward more and more and more in this chair. He was just asking questions he was salivating, he was taking notes. When you were done, he said something very, very powerful. I remember him saying, how did he put it? He said, if you think that I'm going to let millions of dollars slip through my bank here, no, I'm going to do everything possible to answer all your questions and get what you want. Is that about right, sir?
That's right. He even went as far as to name other major banking institutions and said that they would be competing with them in every manner.
Competing, my goodness gracious. Isn't those the same words that we used last year? Family. When we get to this point, banks will salivate and compete against each other for you. They will create what I call back then, the Ted Clampett and Mr. Drysdale syndrome. What do you want, sir? And that's why we spent all of last year educating people not to be ignorant of their investment, but to be like you. Oh, my goodness, sir, you were an encyclopedia of information to this man. Please, give us a little report. I can keep talking, but share with the family what you think happened Thursday.
Well, we had the meeting. Again, we had bad weather. The minute we were walking through the door, and I'll explain that I took a couple what I call heavy hitters with me. I had two friends, both of them are surgeons. They showed up, met me there within a small group that I have that I got involved with the dinar. We went upstairs. We met, gentleman was coming down the stairs and met us halfway down the stairs and took us into their main conference room. As we started, I introduced him to my two surgeon friends, and we started our conversation. And I knew that he didn't know much about the dinar just from previous conversations. Now, I met this Wells Fargo gentleman back in the last part of 2010. And I had told him then how I'd been invested in the Iraqi dinar, and our conversation was real short. I just wanted to find out if he was going to be able to help me in the placement of my monies to get the most return. Well, we talked maybe 2 or 3 times since that time, and my doctor friend had called me and said, hey, what about your Wells Fargo guy? And I said, I haven't heard from him in so long that I'm just going to get rid of him. I listen to Frank all the time. He's got some things. And it was the very next day, we were sitting in the hospital. I was waiting for my wife to go in to see the doctor, and my phone rang, and it's my Wells Fargo guy. And I'm sitting here, I look at her, and I just die laughing. And I answer the phone. He said, hey, this is me. Are we still on? Are we still going to do something? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, we need to get together. And I said, okay. I said, let me get with my people and contact everybody, and I'll call you back. Well, I called you, Frank, and let you know that what was happening, that I was shocked. And my two other friends said, yeah, let's do it. So we set up a time. We went in to meet with him. Now, you have to understand, this is a fairly large Wells Fargo office. The whole building, all 4 floors in this building are Wells Fargo. We went inside. We sat down in a dark conference room. What little ambient light was coming from outside. And as we started, I just kind of went into the history of the dinar, what it was valued at before the fall of Saddam Hussein, how the Saddam Hussein notes aren't worth much except maybe to a collector, and, about how the dinar had so much of the U.S. and the UST's hands in it. And I brought a $25,000 note out, and I slid it over in the dark and said, here's what it looks like. You can see by the lettering and stuff how much the United States is involved in it. And
hey, by the way, James.
Yes, sir.
That was funny on the recording. When you snuck that bill on the table, it was pitch black. This guy was still trying to look at it and put it close up to his eye, and you said, well, I'm sorry, I can't show you the safety features to it. I kind of feel like we're a little covert here trying to show you this money in the darkness, and all 3 of you guys cracked up, and I busted a gut, too. I thought, that is funny, isn't it?
Well, you'll notice I told him, go on and buy, teasing around with him, trying to lighten the mood, and he really thought it was funny. Matter of fact, I didn't think he was going to give me my $25,000 note back. I had to kind of pull it from his fingers.
Give me that. Give me
that. But as we went on in our conversation, I tried, and again, I couldn't pull my notes out. I had to go from everything that I've gleaned through my time with the family and the site, from even back when we were with the other site, and I just unloaded on him with both barrels. He was just completely astonished. Matter of fact, he couldn't. He, as everybody that I've ever gone into to talk to, it's the same thing. They pull this notebook out, and it's halfway full before I get through. I mean, this guy took notes the whole time we were there.
In Braille, in the darkness, man, that's how much he was so interested. Continue. I love more toward the first, part was you educating him, and then when he started, balling back and forth with you with questions, that's when I realized, holy cow, this guy is going to give us a good rate. I can sense it. Because you even told him about Ali, the rates of the other banks, how Chase is trying to call us and compete against him, and it just went on and on and on.
Well, if this would have been a fishing trip, we brought the well in with this one. Because we set him up in a little way, because we told him, Ali, the guy that we bought our dinar from, has promised us a good rate, the rate at the CBI, and it's only going to cost me $150 per $1 million that I exchange with him. I said, now, it would make sense to me, instead of bouncing my money all over the country and everybody knowing what's going on, that I do it in one house, that I come to you, you give me a good rate and take care of me, and I'll leave my money and let you play with it.
He jumped on
and
that.
He was like,
boom, like a flea on a dog. He said,
yes, he did.
No. Yes, we'll take good care of you. Oh, yeah, we'll take good care of you. Yeah, we'll make sure whatever you need, just let us know, and I'm taking you to you.
Well,
what a difference a few articles can make, huh? Or a few laws.
Oh, yeah.
Can make. Go ahead.
He he immediately started naming the larger investment groups and banks in the country, and made it very clear that they were going to be a player with these people. He's not going to let any money walk away from Wells Fargo, and he said he's sure not going to do it. Let it walk away from himself, which really turned the tide for us.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about validity. I mean, right then I knew I needed to really pour, because his next question was, when do you think this is going to happen? And that's when I just poured the coals to it, so to speak, and said, look, I said it could be happening right now while we sit in this dark office and we can't get on a computer to be checking it. And he looked at me like, and I told him I was just being facetious because I didn't want to hurt his feelings because we were sitting in a Wells Fargo bank in the dark. But I said, that's how close we are.
I heard him pick up the phone. I heard him pick up the phone when you said that.
Yeah, he did. He picked the phone up. It was dead.
Who can I call?
But he responded in a manner that we liked. He said that he made it clear that he's not a currency converter. He said that we do have those departments. He says, I am on top of it. I am going to find out the right people to talk to make this happen. He goes, we're going to walk this. We're going to make sure it gets done. And he says, and I'm going to be on top of it the whole way. And you'll notice in the recordings, he said, I'm not going to get any sleep tonight.
Yes.
He was very sincere.
The first part of it, James, when you were educating him, definitely he was absorbing everything. And then the second part, when he was asking you questions, it was cool. But that first part, as you told him something, I'm a gatherer of information. I study things forward, backwards. I don't miss a single thing. And even though I could not see this man, I could. This man was in his own brain. I could probably just see his eyes, rolling more towards the right when you conclude. He was understanding you. When you told him something, I could hear him say, and he would make a comment that would add, something to what you already said. In other words, ergo, okay, I see. So it's going to be this way. Well, it has to be this way. And then there were times when you would say, well, you do understand that is the procedure, and that's how they do things in the banking system. I'm not going to be technical here, but, you said some things to him, and he's like, oh, yes. You know what I mean? Like the process like the process of exchanging. The man understood very clearly. In fact, I think he even did some calculations when you were talking about Ali's office and other things. At the very end, you mentioned my name to him. He knows that our source, our form, is what holds a very large amount of dinars, and he's not about to lose it.
Oh no, we definitely told him about the family and the site, and that I made it very clear that to me, I get the best information, the most legit information that I can get is from your site. And I told him, you need to go there and you need to read up and you need to study and look at the things that I've talked about in these articles. He asked a question. He says, what makes you think this is going to happen? And I said, well, it's about the validity of it. I said, 2 sitting presidents have signed an executive order for us to be able to buy this dinar. I said, if they're signing it, it has to be legal. I said, U.S. banks have been selling it.
When you said that, James, I was proud. But when you said 2 U.S. presidents have signed this, I was so much prouder. You see, I told you 1. Executive Order 13303 was by Junior. But I never really talked about the fact that Obama signed the second one. I don't really talk about Obama that much. But you brought that up. That was brilliant. And then when he asked you, because I know he was writing it down, well, what executive order number, and you didn't know it, and your friend next to you, and that's the purpose of going prepared and bringing others with you, backups for backup.
That's right.
But your doctor friend whipped it right out. He said that's 13303.
You have power in numbers, and that is the truth, and that's why I wanted somebody there, because I knew I wouldn't be. If you're going to unload so much information on one person like we did, you've got to have somebody else there to help pick up the strings, because I literally had to catch my breath for a moment on the things that we were telling.
Yes, James, you did it. You unloaded a dump truck on this man. I don't even know if he's been able to crawl out of what you piled up on him, because at the end he was like me and you when we first learned about, not the blessing, when we first found out about the fact that the laws were passed and this thing is for real now. You know, most people, when they find out about the Iraqi dinar, they're like, okay, whatever, thank you. Listen, I'm trying to tell you something. But you went to a man who has the knowledge of banking and economics. He knows what we're talking about, and every time you told him something, it wasn't like, it was like, whoa, wait, that makes sense. And yes, and when and how and who, and when you gave him all the data at the very end, this man was, like you and I, not finding the opportunity, but finding that the opportunity is about to happen.
Yeah, well, we kept hammering him. I mean, our next step was to tell him, another reason that we knew this was definitely something that was going to transpire for us. I told him, I said, why would the United States Treasury have $20 trillion plus? I said, it doesn't make sense. I mean, if it's good for them, it's good for us. And he just looked at me, and he just went to writing down a ton of stuff. I mean, he looked like a computer screen of things just being jotted down on this piece of paper. It was unbelievable.
I could hear it. I could hear his body language. Could not see it, but I could certainly hear it, and I could respond to the timing of your questions on how he was reacting. Now, James, the next step, this man is going to call you this week, and he's going to say, well, James, this is what I've got for you. I've got these arrangements made. You can diversify into these programs, these portfolios, these investment things. Oh, also, James, you know that $150 that you said that for the exchanging? Well, here's our price. Oh, and by the way, James, remember when you said that this Mr. Ali is going to offer the CBI rate? Well, this is what we'd like to offer you. And what is it that you belong to? Keep the what? Keep the faith. Well. Here's we would like to offer all of those people so that they could come to our Wells Fargo. And please tell them that Chase does not exist. It's a fictitious bank. It doesn't really exist. Just come to us.
Frank, I've had 3 phone calls from this guy in the last week, more than I had in 2 years. He called me the other day, and he said, look, he goes, I've been reading this information. He goes, I'm on top of it. I've got phone numbers to people, and I've called these people, and they're working for us, and they're doing this. And I said, all right. I said, good. He says, I'll be back in contact with you. Well, it wasn't even 2 hours. He calls me back. Now, this is the key thing that gets me. He said, James, he says, I see. He goes, I see that this is going to happen, but it looks like they're saying it's going to be a little at a time. And I said, well, I said, that's a matter of opinion.
Yeah, look at here. He's absolutely right. Think about it, James. The definition of the law says that they're going to lift the 3 zeros, which makes it 86 cents. But you and I know very well that they're trying to get to 1-to-1. Now, when they do get to 1-to-1, do you honestly think that the oil, the diamonds, and the gold, let alone the sulfur, all the other minerals, the water, the gas, the oil, their products, their crops, the virgin oil, and all that. Goodness gracious, this place. That's what he means. That you're going to go from 86 cents to $1 to maybe the true RI, the true reinstated value should be around 260, 270. And maybe he's saying that the finance minister and planner, Minister of Planning, said 2 years ago, no, we need 3.2108. And maybe he's also seeing the reports that they're going to add 20%, which would take it to 386. You see, that's what he means. James, this thing is going to happen. Throughout. He didn't say throughout the year, but he did say it's going to happen like in increments.
That's exactly what he said. But I had to give him a little more knowledge and send him back to the family site and tell him, you really need to read I said there are things that have happened that in the last 2.5 years that I don't see it happening as little as you see it happening. From what I've gathered and gleaned, I said, I see it happening quick and on a much larger scale. And he said, well, I'm going to start studying. He says, I'll be back with you. So.
Well, look at here. When he calls you back, the number one thing that we want is for you guys to be satisfied and your team. Number two, see what he can do to satisfy me and my family. Number three, set up now the second appointment with me so that I can talk to him and I can express the potential of what we have and what we're going to do. When this blessing occurs, tens of thousands of people across the world are going to see that I'm doing business with your bank, Mr. Wells Fargo, man. And by the way, here, why don't you take some notes while I talk a little bit here? Unless you have something else to share with us, by the way.
No. He's ready.
Hey, that's exactly what we said 2 weeks ago, didn't we? Are you ready, family? And then we started with the banks. We started with the banks, and we tried to tell people, go to your banks, do what we taught you. Here we go. First of all, I want you to get him the latest articles, okay? The latest articles are extremely important. Keep them up to date, and make sure that you define them, you interpret them properly for him. I love the one that says, within the next few days. That came out yesterday and today. I love the one that says paid in 2 days. There's another one that says within the 2012 budget. Notice that they don't put out those false articles about, within the 2013 budget. Yeah, whatever. At least now they're showing us the right one. So within the next few days, within the 2012 budget, and paid in the next few days are good articles for you to take to him. So update him on the latest articles.
It sure brings the full measure of the word imminent, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. In fact, it is. Let me give you a sentence. The eminent epic event is very eminent. See the difference?
Yeah.
There are two separate words, and yet they sound the same. Anyways, by the way, those articles that you pull out, make sure that you pound this rock. Sir, you know why it's going to happen within the next few days, within paid, within the next 2 days, within the 2012 budget? You know why, sir? Because inflation is killing them. You'll understand that. Tell him that there is a possibility of an agreement that is not necessarily necessary, but rather important in the same way that there was coordination with the CBI and the GOI. The CBI and GOI have to be separate, but they have to marry. They have to have that coordination that we talked about that allowed the laws to be passed, that now has allowed the committee to be formed by the CBI to do something within the next few days. Tell him that we are looking at something called the EBRL. It is the EBRL agreement. There is a committee being formed, actually already formed, that it looks like they're about to release not release. They're about to implement the EBRL agreement. So look for that as well, too, sir. And tell them about that. As far as chronological, this is for everybody, but please take this down. I want you to understand that Tuesdays and Thursdays are important to me and my team. They always have been. The other days really do not matter to us that much. We believe that somewhere in the still of the night on a Tuesday or a Thursday, we will see something happen. Now, I want you to know that on February the 23rd of this year, the budget was approved by the GOI. Now, I want you to know that the President of Parliament, Talabani, he liked it. They gave him a few days to study it with Maliki and everybody else. And just like Mikey, Mikey likes it. And Talabani liked it. And he signed. He gave permission for 7 days later to release the funds for this budget. Now notice that the budget was approved on February the 23rd. That's a Thursday, sir. And please notice that we're telling you that President Soleimani approved and signed the budget on the 30th.
That's another good word, Frank. That's another good word, ratified.
I'm going to get there in a second because I'm about to tell you that the funds were supposed to be done on a Thursday to release them. We believe they're released, sir. Number 3. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
It takes roughly, like you say, about 15 days, 14 to 15 days to do the ratification of this signed budget, okay? Now, if you add 15 days to the end of February, where does that take us, sir?
Right around.
Well, today's the 12th, isn't it?
Yeah, about the Thursday.
Oh, another Thursday. That would be the 12th, would it not, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the ratification would take up to roughly 15 days. But this time it may be less than 15 days, James. So with that in mind, I want you to know that today is the 12th, and that this coming Thursday is 15 days, James. So right around that time, I would then tell you to buy the U.S. Today, the Wall Street Journal, and the Gazette. If you have the time, look at the United Nations exchange page posting too, James.
Okay.
And finally, just like I said, it takes 15 days or less. May I say that even when you reach the Ides of March, I am not going to change. I will never change once I say something, unless I'm totally wrong. Then I apologize and correct it and go to God for forgiveness and prayer. But I'm not about to change. I would ask you, sir, this Thursday to add 15 more days to it. If you do, it'll take you to another important Thursday. Until then, give him that information.
Okay.
All righty. Do you have any questions? Anything else, James?
No, I just want to tell you, brother, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your family. I understand your loss that you've just incurred, and I only have, the only solace I can tell you is he's in heaven, and he was a Christian. He's in heaven, and we should rejoice and be happy and know that he's in a better place, and he has no hurt, no needs, no wants. He's taken care of, and that in another part of the solace is the fact that you'll see him again someday, and you'll get to embrace him, and he'll remember you, and you'll remember him, and find peace in that.
Thank you kindly, sir. I will always remember him, and I look forward to someday walking those same streets of gold with him. But you know something, James? I do have a lot of fond memories of this beautiful, beautiful man. In fact, one day he worked out with us a little bit. I did not train him, but one day he came to me and he said, "Hey Frank, can we fight?" And I said, "Are you ready to fight me?" And he says, "Yes." And I said, "Okay." So we had a 3-spiral match, and we put the gloves on and we fought, and that's what you do when you train. We weren't killing each other, but we fought, with all of our strength, to the point where I broke my hand. I broke my right hand, pretty bad, and to this day my right pinky sticks out a little crooked. I kissed my pinky last night, James, and just before I went to sleep. Thank you kindly for your beautiful words, and thank you for your work, too, for our family here. Please get back with us and let us know when they communicate with you again and when they want to talk with me.
I'll do that, brother. I love you. Love your family. Y'all be careful, be blessed, and we'll catch you back on in a couple of weeks.
Roger
hey,
that.
James, before you go.
James, you have a question here, it looks like. Jesus, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm still here.
James, before you go, I want to ask you this. Did you by any chance tell that the Wells Fargo man, that the third reason why this is happening is because it's Frank's fault?
I told him that a lot of the problems we've been having and this not happening for us already was his fault. And the little fella, the chicken man, he's looking for the chicken man, too.
Okay, now we can pass the blame on the chicken man. That's good. He probably asked you, what are you doing with Colonel Sanders? Thank you, James. I'll wait for your call. God bless you, buddy.
All right, brother. Y'all be careful. Bye.
Yeah, yes, sir. Oh, my goodness. What an amazing 48 hours. If I could go back and do it again, I probably would not change a single thing, because it's not in my power to do so. Whatever God's will is, so be it. And if it's God's will that we are about to see our blessings, then so be it. And if not, well, then again, so be it. Be strong and then be stronger, family, because that's the example that I am trying my best to set tonight. Real quickly.
Do you realize that even though you don't see it most of the time, you are achieving your goal and teaching that example, right?
Indeed. I hope so, sir. Family, pay close attention to the auctions. The auctions are, in our opinion, trying to refortify themselves with dinars. We don't know what. It's hard to interpret these doggone auctions, but they're developing a pattern again. Look at the 250 million. Let's study it, and let's see how many more times they do this. Pay attention to articles from the IMF. The IMF is now ready to talk to us. You see, Maliki is already done with Kuwait. Kuwait says, yeah, Chapter 7 up. I don't care. Give them whatever they want. And that's encouraging. And now we're going to see the IMF come back out and say, well, really, it seems like we got nothing but thumbs up, 7 up. So UNC, it's in your hands. Go ahead and give them Chapter 7. Mr. President, do you think that you can have maybe some final meetings with the leaders of Iraq to determine this? Yes. Okay, well, please do so. We look for that as well, too. The IMF was so encouraged that they gave thumbs up to the CBI and said, you know something? You guys did pretty good. DOI, you guys did pretty good with the budget as well, and restructuring it and obeying us, doing the things that we asked you to do. I tell you what, we're here to sign some, we'll sign some autographs, for souvenirs, for prosperity's sake. But we're actually here to sign some documents, but don't tell nobody. All right, don't be telling nobody what these documents are, okay? That's fascinating. Pay close attention to the auctions, pay close attention to the IMF movements, and let's see if they turn in the direction of the UNSC. It was rather brilliant of one of our admins, Zeke. He calls himself Gorilla. I want to read to you what he said to somebody that was talking about LOP, where I took the long road just to go around the corner. And people asking about the LOP, the article that came out today saying that the Iraqi dinar was going to be going down in value to the American dollar. It caused everyone to think it's a lot. Now, my explanation was that the Iraqi dinar is already too low in value. So when you consider the law that was passed, the one that says they're going to add more purchasing power to the dinar, and how? Well, the law, you have to consider that it's by the lifting of the 3 zeros. Now, the moment that action occurs, it decreases the value of the United States dollar. Why? Well, because the IQD just went up in value, more than the American dollar. So be careful how you interpret things. Don't slip on the ice to the point where you crack the back of your head on the concrete. Look at things, analyze them, and then bring them to our skull crushers. I'll tell you something, they're special. They're special. And they were there for me today when I needed them. And I saw what they did and posted, and I commend them and I applaud them. Our news hounds, unbelievable. Unbelievable. You guys are good. Very good. Look for the IMF, look for auction numbers, look for anything that might point to documentation signed by the IMF. Now, you know what we forgot, Jan? We forgot to sing happy birthday to Delta. But we also want to say happy birthday to Waiting in Faith. Give me a number, Jan. Waiting in Faith, and to Devirsi Torah. It looks like Devirsi Torah. Happy birthday to the both of you as well, too. God bless you all. Delta makes a very, very good point about the prices. The market is taking advantage of the Iraqi citizens, and for that matter, those that are not Iraqi citizens, like in the green zone, $16 for a couple of hamburgers and a pop. Unless you went to that fancy restaurant called Le Wendy's or Le Big Mac, that's ridiculous. But they're taking advantage not only in the green zone but outside of it. That's why the rate for the Iraqi dinar is $12.40 to $12.60 in the streets. That's a shame. That's shameful. That's very shameful. Anyways, one other thing, I think Delta talked about it. I give them all of our files. Iraqi television is seriously, for the last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, talking about Chapter 7. how they qualified and what it means, and like Delta said, they're using the word major changes, that they made major changes, that they're done with all the things that they needed to do. This is very interesting, because when they decide to talk through their televisions, you normally see their actions. As far as the Egyptians asking for their money back, the article, as Delta told you, was incorrect in its calculations. Now, how do you know that? How can you determine that? We've taught you this before. We taught you. Remember when we told you to draw, or not draw, I said put September 2012 in the middle of a piece of paper. Draw a circle around it. Now draw two arrows, one pointing to the right of that date and one towards the left. Remember what we put on the right and the left? That made you and helped you understand these articles, didn't it? Remember that circle? What did it stand for? It stood for the fact that these currencies would coexist for a very long time. That drawing that we did for you explained things and helped you understand, but the articles sometimes can be confusing. So pay attention to when you see things in paragraphs, parentheses. I said paragraphs, I'm so sorry. Look when you see things in parentheses. If you go back and look at the articles that talk about the so-called 2013, or the beginning of 2013, they're all in parentheses. They even have the word budget outside or inside of it. Look at the article that confused you today about Egypt and the calculations of the numbers. They're in parentheses. The only good thing, we were not able to get any rate out of it. It sure looks like it says 86 cents, doesn't it, Eagle One? But those are false numbers, or they were put in incorrectly. But what we are impressed about is the fact that it's $402 million that is going to be sent to Egypt to pay these private, there were private companies that had private individuals. It's not like they're paying the government of Egypt. They're paying the debt of workers that companies are fighting to get money for, so that they can be paid. And it doesn't matter if this was, 18, 19, 20-something years ago. Just do the right thing, Iraq. And they're about to do it. $402 million. Do you understand that this is a wire transfer, family? This is not us sending the money. This is not DFI funds, This is not the World Court. This is not us holding their money in our New York bank. This is their budget. And it's a wire transfer. That's the first we've heard of it. That's international status. And like we told you, or at least Delta told you, we kept pounding that they were laying the cables. Oh, you know about it. And we kept repeating it, and people would say, well, that's old. I guess Frank has nothing else to talk about. We're pointing. Those cables were huge. And then the PIP movement that was done right after the cable was laid. Oh, my goodness gracious. They can now do a wire transfer internationally? No wonder Talabani signed the budget on Thursday and approved the fundings of it on a Thursday. We will have the Ides of March. Well, you get my point about Thursdays. All righty. Anything else to share with you quickly, family? The GCC is, we already talked about that, but isn't that interesting what the GCC is doing? Pay close attention to them because they're one of the outside markers that can tell you what's going on with their currency. The GCC told them to finish everything that they had to do with their banking systems to lift their value. That's interesting. Saudi Arabia is going to be at the Arab Summit meeting. That's powerful. That's like the 5 communist countries coming to the aid of the United States of America. Can you hit *6, please? So are we on, when Delta tells you that we are on high alert, you better believe we are. And we're not changing our alert status. Sandman, I just got your ping. I saw that you are in Florida. That's a very beautiful picture. Thank you. I see you're standing on the beach, and right next to you is the sun setting right about your eye level. I want you to put it right about your chin level now, Sandman. The only problem is that you are standing on the wrong beach. That's Florida. I need for you to stand on a western beach. All righty. Let's see. Is there anything else that we can cover quickly? Oh, you know what? I got to talking about Zeke, and I forgot to tell you what he posted. Listen, family. It was about the law. I'll give you my explanation. But listen to what Zeke said about the law. I think it's just brilliant. He said, if the CPI was going to law, why then would they spend billions to buying it back in their everyday options? Gosh, I never thought of putting it that way. Of course, I went the long way, didn't I? These were the best of times, and these were the worst of times. And I appreciate your friendship and your fellowship, family. I wish to talk to a member by the name of Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis. Let me see if he's online right now. Oh, by the way, family, did you notice that your website or your form did not go down? Did you notice that, family? we control the station, didn't you? That's why I don't think. There were reasons why we did what we did, and we thank you for your support and your prayers. Okay, I'm looking for Jeff. I don't see him. He's not on. All righty. Well, Jeff, if you get to hear this recording, or if anybody else can send a PM and talk to Jeff, I have your 500 IQD note. You did a good job, Jeff. Yes. When I asked the question, when did Chase stop selling the Iraqi dinar? The answer was December the 15th. Oh, wow, that hurt. The answer was December the 15th of 2008. Jeff, I have your email. Oh, his name is, that's his name? Yeah, I can't say Rumpelstiltskin. I mean, his name on the call? I can spell Rumpelstiltskin. R-U-M. The rest isn't important. Okay, wow. Well, so you call, he's incognito with that name, Jeff. That's brilliant, Rumpelstiltskin. So anyways, I got your address, and I'm going to send you a little note with a little signature, a little date and all that. You've earned your 500 IQD note. I'll be sending that out in the mail tomorrow. God bless you, sir, and your family. In fact, I am sealing it as we speak. There you go. Uh-oh, I don't think I signed it. I'll open it back up. All righty. Jesus, before we leave each other, do you have anything to share with us?
No, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I do have something to share with you. I
got one more thing to share, but I wanted to leave it at the very end. But go ahead, sir, and tell us what you have.
Yeah, I forgot that daylight savings time started last night, so I got here way late. Recording.
Jesus says he forgot daylight savings time started yesterday, so he got way late here to our call. Hey, that's right. Puerto Rico does not do daylight savings time. Your time doesn't change.
No, exactly. My time doesn't change, but yours does. So the conference call is earlier for me.
Oh, I swear. I needed that. Oh, praise God, from whom all blessings flow. I love you, Jesus, and I thank you for the docularity. I thank James Bond. How do you like that? I'm going to call you James Bond from now on. What's your name? Bond. James Bond for you. When you go into... Go ahead.
I was humming the James Bond line.
Well, I was going to say, when he goes into the bank, he ought to have his little cards like that, you know. James Bond. And for you, Mr. Banker, it's sir. Call me sir. Oh, my goodness. My eyes are burning. I can hardly see in front of me. Tomorrow we have our Bible study, family. We start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what to bring you. I honestly don't know what to bring you. Pray that I can come up with something, huh? My ancestors are in heaven. At least I certainly hope they are. And those that I do know, my immediate ancestors, I know are in heaven. My father-in-law, Ed, my mother-in-law, Ruby, my sister, Linda, my mother, Consuelo, Connie in English. They've opened their arms to welcome another beautiful soul, Sergio in English. And I know that he's returned to heaven. I know this without a doubt. And I need for you to know that I know this. Family, we are children of God that are in trees. We are children of God that we linger in trees. And allow me to explain this, and then I will say goodnight to you. In the book of Genesis, the very first two books, chapter 1 and chapter 2, you will find no sin whatsoever. In chapter 1 and chapter 2 of Genesis, there is no sin. Until we ate from the tree that bore the fruit that we should not have tasted. Adam and Eve left the garden that was sinless. Now, with that in mind, I want you now that's the Alpha, okay? That's the Alpha of the Bible. Now I want you to come with me, take my hand, come with me as we walk through this valley, because we live between the trees, family, and I'm about to show you what I mean by that. Come with me as we enter the last part of the Bible. It's called the Alpha and the Omega. The Omega is the Revelation. And I want you to know, family, that the last two chapters of Revelation, they're chapter 21 and chapter 22, there is no sin. There is no sin in those chapters. God tried so hard to make us sinless, but we messed up. And in between the first tree in Genesis, I want you to know that in chapter 21 and 22, they speak about a tree. And this tree is known as a tree that will bear fruit that will heal the world and the nations. I'm trying to tell you, family, that in the Alpha, in the beginning, when God first created us, we were sinless and we walked with Him and we talked with Him. But then we got lost because we thought we could do it without Him. And since then, we've been wandering in between the trees, lost. And He sent His Son so that we would not be lost. And He told us once again in the last two books, the pattern. In the last two books of Revelation, there is no sin at all. And He tells us about the tree that will heal us. He started with the tree of life, and He will return us back to the tree of life. And He will return us back to paradise. I promise you. You just got to believe. You just got to believe. I'm begging you to believe. And with that in mind, I ask you now to bow your heads with me and allow us to be dismissed by prayer. Oh, Heavenly Father, I love you. And I need you in my life. I thank you, Lord, for the beauty and the sadness of my life. I thank you for the Alpha and the Omega of your word. And I promise you, Lord, I promise you, the fruit that we ate in the beginning, we will once again eat of that fruit that will heal us and return back to you. I'm coming home, Father, because I know no other direction. My friends and families and loved ones and people on our farm, Lord, have lost loved ones, and it hurts. And it can be a little confusing. A member on our forum told me today that, oh, yes, life goes on, but sometimes tragedies just stop you right in your tracks. Thank you for pushing me and moving me forward, Lord, and allowing me to have the ability to talk with my father today, with my sister and my wife and our family as we gathered around the patriarch of our whole family, and we kneeled next to him and held his hand and prepared him. He shook his head. He kept saying, no. But then you allowed the Holy Spirit to enter all of us. I am so grateful for that. I thank you, Lord. I thank you. A tear, moving as fast as an iceberg does, very slowly came down and traveled the length of his face as he understood that he was home. These are the things that I pray for my Christian family, Lord. These are the things that I want to do to help others heal. Is what I'm doing now helping others, Lord? Is this what you want of me? Take care of those that are suffering, Lord. For we are just human beings. We are armed with the Holy Spirit in the name of your Son. So we can be weak in flesh, but thou art strong. I love you. I praise you. I thank you. I raise you to the highest glory. Jan, hit first, please. I raise you to the highest glory, Father. And bring all my pain and sorrow to you and leave it at your feet. And as I end this prayer, I walk away, healed by your Holy Spirit. We will return back to paradise, Father, because you showed us the way. How? Through the name of Jesus Christ that I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hold on.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's Andy. I won't be able to play the chauffeur because going 65 miles an hour down the highway, it's hard to do. Can I, Jesus, can I put you on the spot a little bit, Jesus? I hear and I know the love that you feel for Frank.
Yeah, but
can I put you on? Can I put you on the spot to say a prayer for Frank and his family?
Yeah, but if it's not, no, never mind. If it's for a prayer, I won't say what I was going to say. I'm serious. No, but go ahead, Andy. Be my guest.
Can I put you on the spot to say a prayer for Frank and his family?
He wants you to say the prayer, hermano. Do you feel like praying right now?
Oh, you want me to say it? Oh, sorry. I thought that you were going to say it and include me or something.
I will, but you know what, Jesus? I hear how the love that you have for him and Jan, and I think this would be an honor that you ought to have.
Yeah, of course. Well, here goes. Dear Heavenly Father, even though you know that I'm not the best person to be praying in public in front of many people, I know that you don't care. I know that all that matters to you is that we love you and we pray to you all the time. So at this time we are gathered here, and I want to ask you to please be with Frank and his family tonight, as they need you now more than ever, Lord. Heavenly Father, we all either have gone through this or will go through this at some point in our lives. You know that almost 2 years ago, I went through the same thing when my grandfather went home. But what kept me going was knowing that you were with me, and knowing that he is right now with you, and he's suffering no more. He's enduring no more pain. And I know that as joyful as he was during his time here on earth, I know that right now he's one of the angels that has received Frank's brother Sergio on heaven when he went home. So, Father, as I end this prayer right now, please allow your blessings to go to each and every one of the people here tonight, and to continue for you to continue blessing everybody who needs it. All right, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.
Amen. You give me chills. Amen. There. That was...
Thank you, Eagle One, and thank you, Jesus. That's very kind. Thank all of you for your well wishes and your beautiful responses.
We continue to pray for you, sir.
I'm sorry, repeat?
We continue to pray for you, and we will continue to lift you up before the Lord, your whole family.
I thank you very much, sir.
Roger that, Eagle One. Blue Star. Yeah.
And I know that I speak for everybody on the forum when I say that we're with you, Frank. Whatever you need, whatever we can do, and especially me, we're there for you. So if you want some comfort, know that we're there to help you.
Lean on us, Frankie.
Yes, I know that, and I thank you very much.
In fact, I want to ask something for the people that are here right now, the family members that are here right now on the call. I want to ask a special request. Post at least once tonight. Post a big amen on the forum, so Frank knows that we're supporting him.
Can we add a joke to that to lift Frankie's spirits? Frankie, I'm going to send you a joke.
Certainly, sir. Go right ahead.
It's good to laugh in the face of grief. My father, as I told you, when a close friend of his died, he always got up and he made the people laugh. And I think it's very not only therapeutic, but it's great for the memory of that person.
Indeed. Well, I'll tell you what. I tried to sing something for my little brother. Would you allow me to dismiss myself, family, and then we'll say aloha to each other? And I see the numbers. We're down to our 10%. The moment we start praying, 90% of you, or 90% of our listening audience on 3 different things that we have here disappear. So now that I know my 10% is with me, if you could indulge me, family, real quick. You see, when my mom died, our little brother came back and, they were separated for a while because he had done some bad things. But we love each other. We forgive. So he came back when my mom died, and he was outside in the parking lot. He was just walking back and forth. And my sister found out he was out there, and she told him, "Get in here." And he says, "I'm afraid to come in. I'm afraid." And I saw him, and I walked up to him, and I kissed him, and I hugged him, and I looked at him right in the eye, and I said, "It's good to see you. Get in there." And he said, I thought you didn't want me to be. I said, "You kidding me? Your family. Get in there." And when we took Mom to the Fort Sam Houston, it's just rows and rows and rows of these white markers. He took my hand and he said, "Frank, would you sing a song for Mom?" I said, "Yes. What do you want me to sing?" So right there in the open field there, out in the open, I stood right above Mom's casket and sang this, if you don't mind, real quick, just one verse. You know it. In fact, it's our national anthem. And this is for you, little brother of mine. This is for you. Amazing grace, oh, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Well, I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.